Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel for what I think is I want to say it's my favorite Lego set I'm ever going to build, but I'll have to wait until the end to see. However, this is the Lion Knight's Castle. This is going to retail for $400. It is set number 10305. Comes in with 4,514 pieces and an absolute plethora of awesome minifigures. So, being a Lego Castle fan has been very difficult for the past few years. Same thing with Lego Pirates. Actually, as of me doing this intro today, the El Dorado Pirate Fortress, or Imperial Soldier Fortress, whatever you really want to call it, is getting a remake similar to the faith of this. So I'm super glad that they're going back to really popular series and ones that are among my favorite. Now, this is essentially a recreation and complete overhaul and design of a 90 years of play anniversary set. You can see with that bright yellow box, they really went all out on this one here. This is huge in terms of size, scale, and the actual details inside of it. I cannot wait to crack this bad boy open and build it. The box is also gargantuan, and this is exciting because this is also my 1,000 subscriber special build. I was going to do something a little bit different for this, but with Castle being my favorite theme, I wanted to do not only my biggest set yet, but since like chivalry and castle theme stuff is essentially what I started this channel on, I figured nothing would be better than the Castle set. That this is, I think, the most anticipated set for me that I've ever had, because Castle was my favorite growing up, still is. And when they announced that they were building essentially the largest medieval Lego set ever, I was extremely happy. Now, I know there are some gripes with this set. People wish it would have been a little bit better. I do have some complaints. I wish the design was a little bit better. I would love to make this into a full-blown castle siege at some point, but that'll take a lot of modifications. But this has a lot of customization potential. I already have a list of things I want to do for this. And specifically, there's no king with this set. I really wish it would have done a little bit more of royalty. You do see one queen figure, but I do wish they would have done a little bit more, like a royal family would have been pretty cool. But I'm not going to nitpick too much in the intro, just because this is an amazing set and I'm extremely excited to build it. And yeah, thank you all so much for helping me reach 1,000 subscribers already. It's been about 6 months, I think, since the start of this channel, so thank you all so much for helping me hit that point. I'm having an absolute blast. I'm a little bit behind on Lego recording, so sorry. I have like 10 sets, I think, already to build, and the Target that's closest to me has a bunch of half-off Legos right now, so I gotta go scan the clearance aisle when I hop over there for some groceries next. So yeah, tons of projects incoming. Life's just been busy. I'm working 6 days a week right now for the past couple weeks, so I'm gonna finally be able to sit down and build this over a few days, which I'm really excited about. But yeah, thank you guys so much for all the support, and I'll see you at the end of the build, everybody. Alright, well, here's the final build, and let's just say that this is an absolute unit of a Lego set. It's gonna sound weird for, like, one of the most, like, awesome things about this set. Like, it's a castle, it's a fortress, it's supposed to be, extremely sturdy, and it feels that way. When you're building this thing, it feels like an absolute just cinder block of bricks, and it feels awesome. Like, the actual build quality of this set is fantastic. There's so many little details, so many architecture points that are just fabulous. It's an incredibly unique set, which is really nice as well. I absolutely love this. The build was awesome. The overall result is fantastic. I think it's about like a centimeter too tall for where I want it, but we're going to make it work no matter what. So now I will go through the minifigures as always in no particular order. I'm just going to grab them as I go. We have one of the peasant girls. She's holding what is like a little minifigure. It looks like a little chocolate figure actually. She's pretty cool. A lot of these minifigures, I would say anybody that's not a knight specifically or like the queen, they're going to go in their own displays. So like for instance, the children, and then they have her listed as a peasant woman. I actually am going to probably make her more of a town noble or something. I think that would be pretty cool. In the medieval village display, so that is actually going to be really helped out by this set because there's just so many minifigures that I'm not going to need for a castle siege display, and then another little peasant boy. So they're all going to really populate that town quite well, which I'm really excited about. Then we have another knight. This one's more the basic ones. He does have hair instead of a helmet, but there's plenty of extra weapons, armor, helmets, anything that you need. You have tons and tons of extras in this set. Pretty much, I believe every minifigure also has a double-sided face, which is nice. Then you have an archer. Actually, take that one off. Something a little bit different. It's almost like a winging expression for like a sharpshooter shot, which is pretty cool. Definitely like that. As I just completely demolished that minifigure, trying to get the helmet back on. Then we have another knight. The armor is also really cool as well. They're not all the exact same. Some of them have just a little bit of differences on them, which I definitely do appreciate. So it's not the same figure over and over. Then you have one of the forest men. I'm going to call him the bard at that point. He has a quiver, but he does have a lyre instead of a bow and arrow, which is a pretty cool feature. I do want to get the forestman's hideout. I know it was a gift with purchase, and I should have just spent money to get it, but it's going for like 40 to 50 bucks on eBay right now, so I'm just going to grab it there. And I would like to do like a little forestman hideout, especially since I do have a couple more at my disposal now. Then you have another basic knight. I was going to throw some of the extra arms or armor, weapons, whatever on these figures, but it's fine. I'm just going to do it as the instructions have you build it first. Then you do have what is probably the best and most valuable minifigure from this set, which is the actual queen herself. She comes with an amazing cape that does bend a little bit unfortunate, so it does take away quite a bit from that. I was actually pricing the cape for the king figure, and it's like $20 for the cape itself. So once I start customizing some of these minifigures, I'm going to see overall just what theme I want to go with everything. But you do have a pretty cool helmet. The only downside, they do have a just gray, like a dull gray with a golden helmet for the queen. I do think that's a little lackluster. And then another complaint, let me actually go back to figures like this. In a $400 set, the armaments should not be silver. They should be decorated. Like, they should have an actual crest on them. They should have a crest. Something. Even older sets, like with the Golden Knight and a lot of the specialty heroes, they always had printed torsos when it came to the armor. And I think that should be the case here as well, because, I mean, it just looks weird having a gray set of armor on this. Obviously, you know, militarized armies back in the day were not all matching, especially, God forbid, you were in the Vanguard, which, good luck surviving the Vanguard in a medieval battle, but you know the point. You're spending $400 for a Lego. I get that there are some inaccuracies with armor in actual cultures, but I just wish for this set, for $400, for the greatest castle that has essentially ever been added to the Lego series, I just wish it had a little bit more like armor detail, or just a crown, a lion, a little bit of blue and gray. It's just something, just not plain dull gray over and over again. Then you have one of the peasants. Like I said, these guys will be going in just like the little children to the medieval village, which is going to be awesome. I might keep one or two like this little blacksmith and stuff around, just so you have a couple at least regular populations. mixed into the castle, but we'll see. Then we have a little ale keg, which I find adorable. One of the buildings I want to do is a tavern, so I'm going to use that as an benchmark for like the side of it. I think that'll be pretty cool. Then you have another of the neighboring castles here, which is the Black Falcon Knight. And even see, like, they did a dark black helmet for this minifigure, and all of the Black Knights, all three of them in the set have like that black helmet. It's just a nice small detail that separates the factions. Something that I wish the heavy armor would have been done with in this set. Then you have another one. Now, this one just screams kind of like a Vanguard to me, just because, like, the the happily made axe, that's definitely a weapon that you see in a lot of, like, Viking TV shows, with the Saxons trying to meet them, and they always have, like, that dingy axe and a really crappy shield. That is kind of the vibe here. Then you do at least have a different helmet here. You don't get the same one recycled over and over, and another shield. This set is a great army builder. And I see tons of people online on eBay selling a lot of their... Fix this flag. Selling the actual minifigures for this. I assume they've bought 10. And honestly, you can probably make your investment back pretty quick with a set like this. Plus, I mean, the gray pieces are just uber valuable to every LEGO collector, just because gray is in almost every custom set that you make. Then you have a wizard with a little satchel on the back. Cool staff. I definitely like it. I wish he had any form of torso printing. I know this is a callback to the original, which was like a plain blue torso and hat. I do wish they would have done a little bit more on that one. Again, I'm not going to be overly picky of this set because I adore it in every possible way, but there are just little things here and there that I think they could have been better about. Then you have another Forestman minifigure. Wish it would have included more bows and arrows, just for the Forest minifigures. I think that would have been nice. Then you have the probably most unique minifigure here. Now, he's holding an Islander. If you've ever seen Lord of the Rings, the March of the Rohirrim, what he calls fourth Highlanders, with the actual horns, whatever you'd like to call them, he's actually holding one of these, and he has like a little blowing face on him, which I think is an absolutely really cool detail, so he's going to look really cool. I would love to get like 5 of them and actually have like a little battle line eventually, but... oh god, that's a whole nother project one day. Building a castle siege set in 2023 as a LEGO collector is not a cheap adventure. Then you have another really cool setup here. You have another Black Falcon Knight who has a walking stick, a little flag with him, bucket of water, and an actual backpack. Really, really cool minifigure. Really, really different setup too. I really like that. That's not something you see very often. Then, down to the last couple minifigures here, we do have the armored Black Falcon Knight on a really, really beautiful horse with some armor here. Definitely want to get another shield and like a spear or something for the sides of that, but a great minifigure here. I wish they would have done a little bit of like the armor on the horse's head like they used to, but again, horses in the castle theme are very expensive. I think like this horse and this minifigure is like $50 right now. It's insane. And then you have another one of these happily made axes, rather than the one pre-built unit like they used to make. Another shield, and of course the actual horse armor, which is really, really nice. Now here I'm okay with a little bit of the gray helmet onto the mask. But again, I just wish there was some printing on the actual armor torso here. And then for some of the smaller stuff, you do have a cart with a little pigeon sitting on it and some hay in the background. Then you do have little baby sheep, lamb, whatever you'd like to call it, and some extra hay bales. All of these things will go great in the medieval village. And then a little ox/cow. Really nice minifigure setup here. It's great, like I said, awesome for minifigures. In overall quality, quantity, there's some nitpicks, but I'm only nitpicking because it's $400 you're spending on this Lego, and you know you're gonna pick every little detail that you can. That you're going to want. But now, onto the actual big boy. This thing is a unit. It is very heavy. It can be displayed one of 2 ways. It can be displayed spread out like this, or you can actually fold it in as one big fortress. It looks great no matter what you do, but best bang for your buck to actually spread this out on a big shelf, do it this way. This is fantastic, and I'm going to try and get through every little detail that I can, but overall, I mean, first impressions, it's amazing. The landscaping isn't bad. I'm going to do a little bit more work depending on if I'd want to do like a siege setup right away. Not 100% sure yet, but I do want to add a little bit more details down here. But a lot of like the hanging trees and vines are really cool. These shingles are by far the coolest roofing technique I've ever seen in a Lego set. The Medieval Blacksmith held that title for about 2 weeks until I bought this, and sorry, Medieval Blacksmith, but you've been one-upped. Awesome shingling technique. I just absolutely adore it. So you do have two of the Lion Crest shields right here, and then two of the flags are cloth. The two smaller ones are, of course, going to be just your basic plastic, and then I'll start from this side. So I'll do the outside going in just because it is massive and I'm going to try and just get through every little detail. I do like a lot of the smaller shingle work as well. It's pretty cool. Right here, you'll have little knobs on the side. This one is to raise the actual bridge in front of the castle, which is pretty cool. It also works really, really well, so I'm definitely impressed with that. You have a really awesome tree here and a huge beehive. Definitely really cool little inclusion of that. You have a lot of rock work along the bottom as well, as long as a secret passage right here, which is a little bit harder to show. But this rock does open up, and then I'll show it from the other side. You do have like a little hidden passageway down there, which is, again, really cool setup. The tree is very unique. It has a black trunk, which is a really interesting choice. I think it looks great, and I believe it matches the Forestman's hideout tree. So pretty cool setup there. Right along here, you're going to see a lot of these little 1x1 bricks. The absolute most tedious part about this set is these stupid little 1x1 bricks. And you can see my stupid big hands trying to actually getting around this. I was snapping pieces off up here like crazy. Up top, I love all of these rounded bricks. It is fantastic, and all of these little slots here are going to be perfect for archers to just be knocking off their opponents or the raiders, whatever you want to call them. It's great. I love the little slits as well. Building them was really cool. I wish they would have been I wish they were a tiny bit bigger, just so you can put an archer in there. But I completely understand, like, not everything I want in a medieval battle as a medieval fan and nerd is going to happen. I understand these things, but I'm going to point them out no matter what. I think my least favorite part of the build is actually the landing bay here, or the rampway. Good. I'm glad I was batting 1,000 on trying to pronounce landing way. But the actual archways here, I like the design in theme and in concept. It's just not my favorite. It's very loosely attached to the actual castle itself, so not my favorite. I did see on Rebrickable before I bought this, a lot of people are actually changing this to something different. That is something I'll probably do on this, depending on what the pieces are and if I can do that in a day or not. So this is, I think, the weakest part of the actual castle, both in actual build quality and structure. It's just not the best. I'm going to add a couple like translucent white or blue tiles here just to make that connection a little bit stronger, but it needs a little bit of work. I think it's a little bland. I just want to see a little bit more out of that in the front. The actual keep itself is beautiful. Like I said, the rounded pieces up top are great. The flag is amazing as well. I would love to actually get maybe a couple more of those and do like a huge flag feature in the back. Up top, you do have the mechanism that raises the portcullis. And I'm not doing this right, but for the video, it's going to make it work. So you can raise the portcullis, and then you just push this mechanism, and the portcullis drops to the ground. So really interesting build on the portcullis as well. But there are actually chains inside that you can see go up and down. So great technique in there. I really enjoyed it. Bend that piece in just to make this side a little bit easier. Then we go into the middle piece here. A lot of the similar architecture. Pretty much, it's a very similar system as you go in and out. You have a beautiful archway in here with some blue flowers and some vines. Some more of the shingles. And then right over here, the actual housing structures for this set are just fantastic. These shingles are beautiful. It's like a rough terracotta almost. There's probably an actual name for that, and feel free to make fun of me for not knowing it, but it's beautiful. I absolutely love it. Inside, you have plenty of walkways. Right across here, I believe it's 1x12 or 1x16. I'm actually going to do like a strip right up there so you can line archers, because as it stands, you can put them here, but not so much over here without getting in the way of anything. So I'm going to make a little archer platform so you can have a lot of people standing there. I would love it to be, if I do a full battle scene with this one day, I'm probably going to just make it like 2x2, and I'll just ignore a lot of the features that are pretty much back there. But it'll be pretty cool to have some spearmen and stuff in the back. Just picture Minas Tirith set up from Lord of the Rings Return of the King. But you have some flower work here. You have some more flags here. I like the white and the black. It is really nice for the actual structure there. I think it looks great. Then you have another cloth flag up here for the second highest point outside of the keep. Again, a great feature. Then you have some stands in the actual center and some smaller details inside. Then, as we get to the very last part, I'm actually going to wrap this in so you can see the alternative build. Bear with me. My desk does not have enough space for this massive thing. And from the back, of course, you can see more flower detail. You have a couple small archways. These really cool like crown molding pieces for the windows are a beautiful detail, and I love it. I wish they would have utilized the small, what is it, like 2x4, 2x2, something like that, the little lion's head that was in like the drawbridge defense and the lion, like the Crown King Castle Siege or something like that from 2008 and 2009. I wish they would have incorporated that a little bit, but this was going for a totally different era. I get it. I just think it's something they could have added that would have been a pretty cool callback. Then you have another small mill wheel here. Pretty cool. I like it. Some translucent blocks down here. It actually turns some pieces inside as well. So now this enclosed is how you would display it if you don't have enough room to sprawl it out, or when you want to do more of an overall like smaller fortress setup, which again, it's your set. You do with it whatever you would please. Then you have a couple small steps back here and then an open platform up here as well. Now for the inside of the castle, I'm going to hopefully open this and not break it like I did 3 times trying to get it here. I'll start from this side on. So we do have the bedroom up top. You have some almost garland up here, which is really nice. Then on the actual archer lookout or tower here, you do have a small ladder leading to it, which is really nice detail. Another flag base here. Then you have like a small little chimney, which is a pretty cool detail, and a small door going over this way. Then you have a dining hall, which is a really nice setup as well, and a bunch of the history of Legos. The shields actually hung up there. Here is the actual wheel for the mill down here, and a little blacksmith setup, which is pretty cool. And then you also have some food storage and a little bit like nightstand build. In the middle, you do have the mill and then almost like a little runoff here for the water, which is a really cool detail. I do like that a lot. Then we go over a little bit. You do have more of a living space with some musical instruments, a fireplace, and then a little log with a little like log head on top of it, which is cool. The wood knots, I love it. And an axe, of course, to cut that up. In the bottom, you do have the royal kitchen, or just the castle kitchen, whatever you like to call it. You have a cool doorway here, which is a little bit sealed off, which is nice. Then hanging from the wall, you got pretzels, you have a fireplace, you have a bunch of prep over here, and a bunch of cooking equipment. I absolutely love it. I think those are all amazing details. Then smaller structure here. Now, right up here might be one of the best Easter eggs in a Lego set of all time. And that is this adorable mock castle build up here. Sorry for the little gap in between my last sentence and this one. My phone decided to overheat for some apparent reason and die. So I got that rebooted and charged. So yeah, if there's an awkward pause in there, that's why. So yeah, this is actually a like mock build using obviously Lego bricks of the very first castle, which is bright yellow. I love that detail. It is fantastic. That's kind of like the MIDI scale Super Star Destroyer having all the little bounty hunters in 1x1 bricks. I love little Easter eggs like that. Then we move on to the biggest boy of the castle, the actual keep itself. You do have an armory up here, and then you're going to see a ton of the chains hanging down. I actually think one might be loose in there, so I might have to fix that after this. But you have the armory up here. Then you have it just pretty much a normal area down here. You have a couple things hanging off the walls and a couple gates, but that's just about it. Then you have some of the pieces from the top and a ladder leading down. Then you have the jail cells down here, or the dungeons, whatever you like to call them. Now, you do have a little entranceway from the outside, like I showed you when you move the rocks. Then over here, we have some more armaments that actually line up to this to make it like more of an armory setup, but when it's open this way, it's kind of just a bland floor. Ladder to the bottom, and then you have a couple small platforms as well. So yeah, that'll just about do it for the review here. This set is incredible in just every step of the way. I absolutely adored this. And before I forget, close this up, slide it over that way. Ignore the couple minifigures. I was moving some stuff around in between phones charging. The instruction manual, another great example of just small details like this. There is the all yellow castle, but yeah, it actually does show you the history of Lego Castle, which is pretty cool. The creators behind this set and the theme itself. So yeah, I just did want to show that out. You can also see how thick these books are. You get 2 of those with this. But yeah, just overall a beautiful set, beautiful instructions box. and everything to go along with it. So yeah, that'll just about do it for my 1,000 subscriber special. Star Wars Legos are coming back. I'm going to be building the Mandalorian Fang Fighter versus the TIE Interceptor when I'm done with this review and getting this all set up and put away, and a bunch more sets coming up soon. So yep, I know it's been a long pause since Star Wars has been built in this channel, and I'm sorry. I'm just busy working on some other stuff like my city and my medieval setups, but have no fear, they are returning very, very shortly. So yeah, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next build, folks. Happy building, everybody.